I saw this story on the timeline and I thought to myself, you know what? This is absolutely wild. But also, shout out to the guy. Shout out to the guy. So I'm sure some of you guys have probably seen it yourselves. So forgive me if this is old news, but I've just seen this. This is quote of the Washington Post. Crypto investor tortured man for weeks for Bitcoin password, prosecutors say. Tortured him for weeks. Crazy. A New York crypto investor kidnapped a 28-year-old man, tortured him for weeks in a ritzy 8-bedroom townhouse by electrocuting him with wires, beating him with a gun, and forcing him to smoke cocaine to extort cryptocurrency from him, prosecutors and police say. It's funny, that last line, because I was talking to someone about this the other day, about the whole cocaine smoking thing. I think it's something that's big in the Mediterranean. I don't think it's big over here. But I remember back in the day, that was a thing. People would buy cigarettes. And if you had if you were on a session somewhere, right, having your fun with your friends, doing your adult multivitamins, whatever that was left on the plate or in the mirror, someone would take a cigarette and they'd kind of lick one line and then they'd kind of roll. No, they lick the cigarette and then roll it in the coke that's on the plate, or they'd slide it along it so you kind of get that bar and then smoke it, which kind of sounds like you're smoking crack. I've never done it personally because, that's a little bit too much for me. But I've heard from people that it's kind of wild that people do that sort of stuff and the effects are pretty gnarly. I'm not advocating for it, but it's funny that they say that because I remember that being a big thing back in the day for afters when you're running low on stuff. Instead of sniffing the last stuff, you just roll it in a cigarette and then start smoking it. So pretty wild. Authorities arrested John Waltz, 37, and charged him on Sunday with kidnapping, assault, unlawful imprisonment, and criminal possession of a firearm, according to Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Court records allege Waltz kidnapped his victim by luring him to the promise of returning Bitcoin that Waltz had already extorted from him, before seizing the victim's passport, electrical devices on May 6. Waltz and a person described in court records as an unapprehended accomplice allegedly threatened to kill his family if he did not provide a password for Waltz access to family's Bitcoin. You know what's wild about this, right? I remember there was a story, and it's kind of 60 people fighting back. Big up everyone, big up everybody fighting back. Big up civilians, big up regular civilians fighting back against this sort of shit. Because you're seeing in the UK, you're seeing people in the UK who've I guess been previously been victims of those kids that go on e-bikes and steal people's phones, right? You've seen those very same people who are victims of that kind of theft are now kind of stepping up and becoming vigilantes and stopping other crooks, other thieves from doing the same thing. So you see regular civilians, pedestrians and shit, tourists running after these kids on these e-bikes, stopping them and shit. It's pretty sick to see, I'm not gonna lie. I remember I actually saw one the other day of some guy in Spain, I think a Chinese dude in Spain, got some guy in the fucking guillotine or something, right? No, I think you're in a rear naked choke. Wait for the police to come. I saw another guy in the UK clothesline some e-bike rider. And then I'm going back to this crypto thing. I remember seeing a guy in, I think, Paris, who they were trying to abduct into a van, actually. A big crypto millionaire guy. They were trying to abduct him, and he fought for his fucking life. And he managed to make enough noise and scream that the kidnappers left. So it's kind of sick to see these people doing it, but they're only doing it because the police aren't helping, So you're having to kind of step up and help yourself, because the police probably don't take these kind of threats to these crypto investors seriously. Police kind of have to wait until you get kidnapped before they can help you. So it's kind of wild. The man escaped and was bloodied and shoeless when he flagged down officers on the street and reported Waltz to authorities, the district attorney office said in an email in Washington Post. Prosecutors say that Waltz is originally from Kentucky and deemed him a flight risk as he was a private jet and a helicopter. He's being held without bail. Wayne Gozell, an attorney for Waltz, declined to comment. Waltz and a male accomplice had previously forced a man that they kidnapped to send them Bitcoin by threatening to have his family killed, prosecutors say. Waltz and his accomplice allegedly told the man to come to New York to get his cryptocurrency back, then kidnapped him. Maybe it's different depending on what type of level of celebrity you are, but I've never understood how people take online threats that seriously. I'm not gonna lie. I really never understood how people take online threats like that seriously. Or I'm gonna kill your family. Really? Really? Are you though? Are ya? Don't get me wrong, 1 in 1,000 threats might be legit, but you still have to do it, And I'm not going to be scared until you do it. That kind of thing. It doesn't really make any sense, but I guess at that kind of level, you're probably super power anyway, so maybe anything someone says to you is going to throw you off your shit. Prosecutors did not state the amount of Bitcoin that Waltz was allegedly demanded. The alleged victim was a 20-year-old man who arrived in New York from Italy in early May, according to Associated Press. Waltz and his accomplice held the man, bound his wrist in the upscale townhouse where they both lived, according to the prosecutors, over the next 3 weeks. The duo allegedly tortured the man, urinated on him, and held him over the ledge of a flight of stairs while threatening to kill him. I'm not going to lie, I'm also holding out. Oh, you're going to piss on me? Really? You're going to hit me? You're going to beat me a few times? You're going to electrocute me a few times? Like, come, you got to do more than that to get me to give up my fucking money. Especially in this economy. Especially if you're a crypto billionaire, like a millionaire in general. A lot of these crypto people, from what I've seen anyway, or in general anyway, I'd imagine are people who probably would have never amassed that kind of wealth without crypto. So they basically, you know, their entire wealth, their entire livelihood that they have now is because of crypto. They're not going to give that shit up lightly. Some of these guys got it early and they've just, you know, become millionaires just through default of holding for so long. Some of them have been quite savvy investors. But either way, considering how they live, considering how hard they work for their money, they are really unlikely to give it up that easily. You have to start cutting off limbs. You have to go that far. You have to maybe abduct or kidnap another family member. And even that won't get me to give it up. You know what I mean? Some people in some families are expendable. You get me? No shots fired. I'm not naming any names. Some people are expendable. You get me? But you have to do more than piss on me to get me to give you my fucking pass key or my passphrase and shit. Like, I'm not going to give it up that easily. Come on, bro. The victim was held in luxury 6-story Prince Street townhouse, known for loud partying, according to neighbors who spoke to the NBC. So that's actually a smart move. They kidnapped him in a place where there's a lot of loud music. So if they did put up the music to kind of muffle the screams, nobody would be none the wiser. After allegedly being pistol whipped by Waltz and believing that he would soon be shot, the victim feigned capitulation and told his captors that he had given him his Bitcoin password. When Waltz went to retrieve the man's laptop in another room, the victim fled down the stairs. Honestly, kidnappers, man, criminals nowadays aren't what they used to be, innit? You got that story of all those prisoners escaping from that prison somewhere in America. I forgot where it was. I think New Orleans somewhere. And I think all of them, I think there's like 11 or 10 of them. And I think they've all been found with the exception of one. With the exception of one guy, they've all been found. And they've all been found in the local area. One of them was found sleeping on a bench. One of them was found, a couple of them were found walking around the fucking district where everyone goes and drinks and shit. And if I'm not mistaken, most of them as well, their parents or family members have also been prosecuted or are being prosecuted because they found evidence that the family members are helping them with their escape by sending them money and shit. So criminals aren't what they used to be, you know? They escape from prison, probably one of the hardest things to do, and then you escape and you have no plan as to how you're going to evade capture. Similar with this thing. You kidnapped a crypto investor and you have no, you know, sense in you. The laptop that you want him to input his details on is on the other room. Huh? So you have to, like, come, he's not tied up. Huh? The victim ran outside and immediately flagged down a traffic agent who then called 911. The victim was bloodied and had no shoes on. Prosecutors wrote in a bail application shared with the Post. The victim was brought to the hospital traumatized and with lacerations on his face, injury to his wrist, consistent with being bound, and various other injuries to his head and body. Police searched the townhouse and recovered a saw, cocaine, chicken wire, body armor, night vision goggles, ballistic helmets, firearm ammunition. According to prosecutors, they also allegedly found Polaroid photos of the kidnapped man with a gun held to his head, t-shirts wrapped in photos of his kidnapped man with a cocaine pipe in his mouth. Bro, that's not going to do enough, man. You can't make me smoke coke. You can't make me smoke crack and think I'm going to give you my password. I'll probably be too high to do anything at that point. Come on, you got to do more. You have to remove limbs, bro. You have to, or you have to, like, you know, do the whole, like, I guess they don't want to do the whole shooting in your kneecap leg thing because you might hit artery and he might just completely bleed out. But you have to inflict some actual real harm, some real pain. You can't just be saying things and punch a man up. And plus, these are like nerds, innit? Like, the guy probably hitting him is a nerd too. Probably doesn't hit that hard. Like, good, well done to the dude anyway. But you know, criminals are a bit weak nowadays. Waltz faced up to life in prison for felony kidnapping. Excuse me? American laws are weird, innit? You can go to prison for life for kidnapping. Waltz faced up to life in prison for felony kidnapping charge. He pleaded not guilty on charges due to... That is insane, innit? you can go to prison for life for kidnapping somebody. God Almighty! But people sometimes get like numbers in terms of murder. You kill someone in cold blood, depending what lawyer you get, you could actually get off with some good time. Not good time, but you might not spend life in prison. You may spend 30, 40, 50 years, but not life. Fucking hell. So big up that guy. Well done for him for holding out. And another update on it as well. Second suspect arrested. Look at one of the kidnappers. Look at him. William Duplessis. Look at this guy, man. Look at this guy, William Duplessis. A second suspect has been arrested for allegedly kidnapping and torturing an Italian tourist. William Duplessis turned himself into authorities. Well, he didn't get captured, is it? He did, yeah. I guess he got technically arrested, but he handed himself in. Let's relax a little bit. The alleged victim told police that he was hung off a roof ledge, shocked with electrical wires, and attacked with a chainsaw. Both suspects are charged with kidnapping with intent to collect ransom, assault, and unlawful imprisonment. The arrest came after the victim managed to escape the home in Soho, one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in New York, where he was allegedly tortured, bound for 3 weeks. That's the thing, innit? That's why I think rich people and poor people have so much in common. Especially me growing up in a somewhat poor family for a long period of my life, and now having to, being in certain rooms and being in certain places where people have a lot more money and, wealth and whatever it may be. You realize there's a lot of similarities on either, which happens, innit? I think at the extreme ends of the scale, they always have way more in common. So I think if you go to a hood, or if you go to ends like we have in London, and you just look at a tower block, or you look at some flats or an allotment and shit, or whatever, or some bungalows, you have no idea what's going on behind those clothes. There's probably a madness going on in any time of day, any day of the week you go. There's probably a madness going in one of those fucking flats, buildings, in one door. Behind one door, there's some sort of madness going on. Same goes on with the flipping rich neighborhoods. Behind those gates, behind that security, behind that fucking well-trimmed, fancy fucking hedge, whatever, in front of the houses and shit, with the immaculate cut lawns, there's so much madness going on behind those closed doors. That's probably why they do so many TV series about like those places, right? There's that recent one that just came out by starring John Hamm. Your Neighbors, Friends, or Friends of Neighbors, whatever the fucking title was. It's fucking a really good series, by the way. Little Fires Everywhere is a good one. Like, there's loads of those type of series about like, what goes on behind, closed doors in these rich neighborhoods, because they're just the same as poor neighborhoods. There's so much shady, seedy, dark shit happening. So who would have known in this fucking upscale neighborhood somewhere in New York that some guy was getting tortured, nearly close to probably dying behind these closed doors for his Bitcoin? Fucking crazy. Mr. Waltz is a crypto investor from Kentucky, has been renting the Soho house where assaults occurred between $30,000 to $40,000 per month. Rata, he's got money himself, innit? Usually kidnappers are kind of broke and putting you in fucking disused warehouse. This guy rented a place that cost $30,000 to $40,000 per month. Police arrested another woman on Friday, but prosecutors have declined to press charges. The alleged victim told police he came to New York from Italy on May 6th. That upon arriving, suspect Mr. Holtz took his passport and allegedly held him captive until he escaped on Monday morning. The victim has not been publicly named, managed to escape from the home on Friday, according to prosecutors. So people already been getting arrested. As per usual, it kind of shows you nowadays, like, getting away with crime is like almost impossible now. Like, especially in this type of instances, because obviously he knew who the kidnappers were. But being a criminal nowadays is long. It really is fucking long. But big up the guy who survived. Big up the guy who survived. You're an absolute G. Absolute G.